Good morning. Welcome to the Brew. Today's topic, the sentiment around AI. What are Americans feeling about this? Let's chat with the gals, Molly and Paulina, today and dig it out on the opening bell. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Hey guys.
Hi, Paulina. You on? Are you mic working?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. My bad.
Okay.
I'm doing well, thank you. Do you notice that Molly's in a different background?
Guys, I swear I'm working. I'm at the beach right now, but I promise you I'm working.
I know that's the beach background. Gosh.
Nice background. I wish I was there.
Right? We'll get invited someday, Paulina. Don't worry.
Right. Yeah. Ignore the tan.
Yeah.
I swear I'm contributing here.
All right, Paulina, you've been nitty-grittying here with sentiment around AI, huh?
Yeah, so there was a new survey that came out specifically for how Americans feel about AI within healthcare. And that made me think, okay, I want to see what Americans are thinking more broadly around their sentiment in AI. So I wanted to look at this latest survey and then some of the surveys that have been going on for the past month to six months, past year to 6 months. So thought we could dig into that.
Cool. Okay. But you said more broadly, so that's good. So I got to be honest. I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't want my doctor to be a machine. Sorry.
Right.
I'm just saying.
That is real. That is real.
That scares the bejesus out of me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Americans. No, I was going to say more than half of Americans, are with you with that. They don't want AI to be dictating, decisions around their health.
Yeah. Nor do I want them really flying my airplane either. Although
I might swallow a nanobot for diagnosis. I might.
A nanobot. You are a nanobot, you knucklehead. All right. So what's Pauline in general? Well, or maybe specifically, how do Americans feel about AI? What have you dug into?
Yeah, so according to this latest survey, it was a Salesforce survey, and basically what it shows is a majority of the respondents prefer to consult with a human doctor over AI algorithms for medical guidance. So some of the things that they were concerned about was doubts around the accuracy and reliability of the AI medical recommendations. They were also worried about privacy and data security. So I think essentially the findings show that there is importance around building trust and transparency around AI, especially AI within healthcare, to make sure that it gains public acceptance. And so those are the results essentially of that survey within AI within healthcare. And then I looked at, there was, a broader sentiment survey around AI that was conducted by Pew Research back in November of 2023. And that survey essentially showed that Americans, they do acknowledge that there are benefits of AI in terms of improving efficiency, innovation, but there are concerns around job replacement. Again, privacy issues came up in this survey as well, and ethical concerns. So I think generally the consensus around American sentiment is that they're optimistic, but cautious about the risks at the same time.
Okay. Molly, you being the CT gal that you are, you've got to have a feeling about this one.
Oh, I certainly do. How deep down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
Oh, here we go. We only have a little bit of time for Paulina today. Right. She's got to run, but
so I'll just leave you with this thought. So I think if we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, we should talk about where our intelligence came from. And 85%, I believe, don't quote me on that, of the neocortex came from chromosome number 2, which if you look at that, there is a verifiable fusion that does not quite happen in nature. In fact, it's to the 600th power, which makes it scientifically impossible. So
apes have 48. We have apes have 24, we have 23. And so 1, 2 were fused together to make our brain, why we're speaking, why we can trade, why we can have this conversation. And it's so perfect that some genes were silenced, some genes were inserted, some genes were removed to make it stable. And it happened almost instantaneously. And, the world runs on Darwinism, but there is a component that we're now starting to realize that might lead to 200,000 years ago that who gave birth to AI? I don't know. Are we AI? So it goes deep down the.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it to Mal. Oh my God. Well, so I was at a conference this weekend in Orlando, and the question of AI came up to me.
Ooh.
And I'm not a good person to answer this. They asked me about is AI starting to make headway into the trading business?
Ooh, good question.
So, my answer was yes and no, I guess. So on the market making side of things, which is the people who provide liquidity for the retail traders to trade on, I said I think it's already been there for years. And all I mean, AI is, we might want to take a step back and define AI in a second, but everything's automated in that market making world. So any sort of permutations and shifts in pricing and models at a market making shop are done, by a computer or done electronically. Now, granted, the humans have input knowledge and workflows into the computer, but the computer takes it and then runs with it, and then makes its decisions based on what the inputs are, and that's the end of it. So,
right.
Is AI that, or is AI something way beyond that, where the computer can actually make logical decisions based on a question posed to it? You see the difference that I'm trying to?
Yeah. So are you saying, when we talk about AI, people say, oh, it will never reach human consciousness, but does it have to look like human consciousness? Can it, is there some form of sentience even at the embryonic state, or, and is it, dangling this fruit in front of us to have us direct in building it? Are you saying more on those lines?
Yeah. I mean, I think the difference is that if you say, hey, computer, I need you to model Apple options and give me the best markets possible. To me, that I don't know if it will be able to do that without saying, here's the low implied volatility, here's the high implied volatility, here's what it looks like when realized volatility is, here. You got to put a bunch of stuff in so it can actually start to learn in the first place. Are you seeing that too, Paulina? Something around those components?
Yeah, I would say right now it's still in the initial stages where AI has to learn through the information that is inputted into it right now.
Yep.
I think going back to kind of connecting this to the surveys and trying to see how AI develops, I think it's going to make more mistakes in the beginning before it gets better. And I wanted to point to Google's Gemini recent debacle. So just a brief history around that. Google came out with a chatbot called Bard last year in February, and they rebranded that into Gemini, which is their generative AI tool, and they updated it a few times. But more recently, there has been a lot of backlash with Gemini because as people are entering prompts to create these AI generated images, Gemini is mostly showing people of color, of different races that don't necessarily match the prompt request. And as a result, they pulled the Gemini temporarily as they fixed the algorithm. So I think that's a combination of, first, I guess Google was obviously not prepared for that, or they didn't set the algorithms right, or I'm not really sure what they were doing on their end, but they're to blame. But I think it's also the AI needs some time to learn with all the information that it's inputting and trying to understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense in a sort of a nation's beginning piece of technology. I think we're going to have missteps, we're going to have setbacks and what have you. I think it's natural. So Ma, you're going to say something, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess what I was saying before was, how does AI, when you ask it a question, how does it play a role in decision making? And so if you look at BlackRock's Aladdin, it handles about 21 trillion assets, manages 21 trillion assets, and although it doesn't directly process financial transactions, it does facilitate all the decision making and risk management for a mountain of assets. So again, talking about what would singularity look like? Would it look, is it talking? Is it shaking hands? Or is it answering questions for its benefit to drive which direction we as humans go? And then you have to look at consent. So you're actually kind of giving consent when you execute on those decisions that it's offering to you. So it's really, I think it's a really important just to zoom out and to take a big look at every time we place a trade. And I say this ad nauseum, but every time we make a trade, we affect and a butterfly effect, how that ripples out. But to I think research, I think finances was really the oxygen of how we move through life, but I think it's going to be it's information now. And so information, we can just gradually, easily get it off a BARD. But I think the next step is to have to do our due diligence and go drill down into the original documentations and really go to the source of information to make sure we're making the right decisions.
Yeah.
Would be my opinion.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paulina. Sorry.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think, as someone who needs to make sure that their sources are, the best way possible, that's of utmost importance. But I think now more than ever, with the inaccuracies that AI inevitably will have as a new technology, it's more important for us to make sure that we do our own due diligence and not trust whatever is generated from these technologies.
Right. And how often do you use, in your trades, Lex, how do, what's the role of AI in your world?
Next to nothing, honestly. I would be very, I would not trust what the results would be. Plus, when I've even tried it before, where I've used, it was Bard in the past, right? Pauline, is it now Gemini? Is that the name that replaced Bard?
They rebranded it to Gemini.
Okay,
yeah.
So Bard, Gemini, I've used I asked it questions around trading and fundamental data. It can spit out the fundamental data, but it doesn't give you an opinion on it. It says that we're not in the investment game or something like that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Which is a good idea, I think, at least at this stage. So I don't find it super useful. What I do find it useful is getting me information that I can see and process and then make a decision. That's what I find.
Got it.
But that's like anything. I can go into Google right now and type in, what did the earnings look like in, for XYZ stock, and it'll give me a whole page of things I can read. Same difference, right?
Right. And then we have trading bots. So what was that when you? Right. It's like a heavy algorithm versus strong intelligence or something. But what was when you went and you were in Orlando, what was the consensus over there?
I think most people felt similarly to me that the kind of the theme of garbage in, garbage out. If you as a human put in garbage information, you're going to get garbage results from the bot, right? Which is, I guess, obviously makes sense. So it's incumbent upon the actual human to be able to program the bot with a good workflow and strategy. And all it does for the human is makes him or her, able to do so many more things than just the one or two things he or she can do, which makes sense, and I'm a big fan of that. The best analogy I heard, or a really good analogy, was think about when casinos had gaming in them from the beginning, right? They had a roulette table, not a slot machine, roulette table, craps table, blackjack. And they were manual human beings running those tables. The casino has massive, but edge on everything they have out there. So what they discovered was, what about placing a slot machine in the casino, which was a electronic device. At first it was kind of goofy looking, and you had to kind of pull things and hit buttons. They've perfected it so that it's completely electronic. It's like a bot. So they don't need any staff other than people to pull the money out of the machine. And a human can sit there and put as many dollars in that machine, and the machine will never get tired. And it's changed the dynamic of Vegas because they make 70+% of their revenue from those machines.
Oh my gosh.
How disruptive that is to gaming and their profitability. Now, analogously to trading, what a human could do is the same thing for his or her trading situation. Is instead of trading one little stock over here, Apple, now you can program the machine, the bot, to scan and search for your opportunity, whatever that is, across a swath of things, and it presents opportunities to you. That's where it becomes useful, right? It becomes a disruptor, I think. Hope that makes sense.
Well, it does. And Paulina, we depend on, the news outlets for our actions. So how much of AI do you use in your research?
Oh, I don't use AI.
Well, there you have it.
There you go. Okay, go read our articles. But I think you bring up a good point, Lex, that there's just a race for AI. And so we talk about regulation and what's regulation, but then who's going to be the first to step up? And so, when does it step into armory and so in this race, and if you have, your returns jump to 70%, like the casino does, and if you don't use AI, you'll be left behind. How do we steadily walk into the future? Because we are approaching neural-based technology with Neuralink. And so what happens when you interface with your computer and your trades, with a thought? So, and then what happens when we all connect mentally with the Neuralink technology? It's going to be, it's a wild time.
It sounds scary to me, the Neuralink. Yeah, it just sounds like I need to have something embedded in my brain.
I'm going to run to
now you're scaring me, Mal.
I know.
The Neuralink.
But yeah.
Oh my God.
It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. So before we go, Paulina, the mistrust among Americans, what's the crux of it? It doesn't have to be necessarily medical, but just in general. What do you think that is for them?
The fact that Americans, they don't trust the AI generated medical advice. Yes. Yeah. So essentially they just kind of think about it from a finance perspective. And I think this is analogous to what the survey is trying to get at. So for example, when maybe you want to use a robo advisor to trade as like a 20 to 25-year-old to kind of experiment with the markets. Obviously, they have AI algorithms as you input your age, your investment goals, and so forth, and they kind of help you around what your investment strategy should be. But as you get older, your finances get more complicated. You might start a family, buy a house or whatever. So you might need a human advisor to properly do that risk analysis and maybe consider things, and the robo-advisor AI-powered algorithm doesn't. So that's kind of the same thing that the survey is getting at, where Americans are more interested in the analysis and, I guess, risk, if you will, analysis of a human's health versus what the AI spits out. So I think that's kind of what they're trying to get out there. However, I'm not in the medical field. I'm not well versed in that area, but if you go to the doctor, I mean, they have their computer in front of them, they put in your symptoms, and they kind of use the databases to guide them already. Right. So I wonder, if the AI will in fact kind of help.
You just reminded me of something that might be kind of cool. I don't know. if you did when the doctor's punching on his iPad, all those symptoms or what have you, if the AI behind the scenes says, okay, here's your checklist, make sure you ask these questions and thump on his chest and do this right down the line. You know, this could be this, could be that. I don't know. I guess I'd have the drunk doctor on a Monday morning or something like that. So he would need that.
My college roommate has a PhD in integrative neuroscience, and he built such an app. So he built something called Simpa, and it's basically AI interfacing with your health. And so it gives you nutritional advice and you name it. And I can't see it slowing down. How I mean, if my, and again, I don't have kids, but I have my dog is my everything. And so if he's sick at 3 a.m., which has happened, I have an app where I can go and ask, and then that interfaces with the doctor if it's serious. And I'll take it. I really, versus having to get in the car and go to the vet. And I think the financial health and physical health are very important and tied together. And I don't see technology slowing down anytime soon. The people I speak to, and, you know, just being around my roommate and some other friends that are in the space, I mean, when you're really deep in the space, you know, my cousin also is is a VC for a lot of AI tech, and they are running full sprint. So even though there might be sentiment against AI, I don't think that's going to be enough. And I think regulation might be on the surface, but there's always going to be a black market for AI, and there's always going to be weaponization of AI. But the positives are also really beneficial. So the fact that there's more transparency in what's going on and information, and you can do your self-research for preemptive health, and you can go online in this computer. I can type Lex and he can give me a full education, and I have this side hustle for earning income on my, you know, which is scalable. So this new world where we have to have an income that's scalable, and that's trading. And it's not going to be your 9 to 5. Yes, 9 to 5, but you're going to have to also have a scalable side hustle for sure. And I you know, tech is going to be a big part of that. Yep.
Good point. All right, Molly, guess what? We gotta say bye-bye to Paulina. She's gotta go bye-bye.
Hi guys.
All right, Paulina.
Paulina, great topic. I love it. This isn't going away, so we're gonna keep our ear down for this one.
Definitely.
And we did a whole episode on BlackRock and Aladdin, so we'll put that link down in the comments below, so check that out. Yep. Thanks, Paulina.
All right, Paulina, have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
All right.
Bye. Oh, hi, Mal.
Oh, hello, Lex.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I raced to the computer today.
I know.
So
I see that. We're on the beach today. I get it.
Yes. So how was your big event? Tell us.
It was good. Well, we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a whole show on that. How's that sound?
We should. We definitely
Let's
should get clips of you.
Yeah.
I want to see you on stage.
Oh yeah. Well, I was there for an hour, so you'll see it. I think they filmed it. We'll get a clip and we can bust it.
I've heard on the street that after you jumped off stage, there were people that surrounded you for pictures and et cetera. Just so you know who Lex is. You know who we're talking to.
You're being too nice. No, you didn't do that though. All right. Well, we got to run. I got to cook. I've got doggy problems, so I got to run to the vet.
Oh,
everything's good, but we've
okay.
A minor blockage.
All right. Check your AI app out if you need help.
Check my AI app on this one. Well, we'll see you, Mal, next week on Wednesday for our show.
Okay, and tell Boo, right?
Boo.
Tell Boo I hope Boo feels better.
All right. Yeah. Good deal. All right. Bye, everyone. Happy weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Live it up.
All opinions expressed by Tradier Hub contributors are solely the contributors' opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Tradier nor its affiliates and/or subsidiaries. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Hub contributors as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. The contributors' opinions are based on their own personal research, but neither Tradier nor its affiliates and/or subsidiaries warrants its completeness or accuracy, and it should not be relied upon as such. Any trades or positions discussed or referred to by contributors may or may not be actual live trades or positions. Such information is not intended to be financial or investment advice. Tradeyear Inc. is the parent company of Tradeyear Brokerage Inc. Tradeyear Brokerage Inc. and Tradeyear Inc. are separate entities with their own products and services. Securities products and services are offered through Tradeyear Brokerage Inc. Tradeyear Brokerage Inc. is an independent subsidiary of Tradeyear Inc., all rights reserved, member FINRA SIPC.